All right, guys, let's continue after lunch break, even though we're still in the middle of lunch. Uh, Join me for live lessons Mondays and Wednesdays from 2 to 2:30. We're off today being Monday, but I'll have class on Wednesday. I also have office hours from 2 to 4. All right, feel free to join me there. We're enlisting lesson 3, displacing the plain Indians, because it's not U.S. history without displacing Native Americans. Since we started, we've been pushing them west, and then once we get to the west, we can't push them any further west because they're pushing them east. So let's put them on reservations. How does that sound? Right? Terms, we have a whole bunch of vocabulary terms here. Annihilated, assimilation, decimated, detrimental, eradication, ineptitude, massacre, mutilated, perpetrators, prowess, reprimanded, retaliation, and detrimental. Came out twice. Detrimental, detrimental. Oh, they're using it in two types of ways. I wonder what the mix-up is there. Right. Uh, Somewhat text, we have 15 items. You actually have word item here in the difference, right? Annihilate or using the words. These words below are very close in meaning. Using your library or internet sources, compare and contrast these words and explain the difference. Type your answer in the box, right? So 14 questions, Sioux attacks, Bozeman Trail, Bozeman Trail. What does what was done to punish those in the massacre? Militia at Sand Creek, Bureau of Indian Affairs, Native American policies during war, more Native American policies during peacetime, more federal policies. What actually led to the end of the nomadic lifestyles? We have determined whether the statement described nomadic or stationary natives. What was introduced that was most important to herd bison and became more effective hunters? What was the earliest occupation of plain Indians? And then what was the migration of the U.S. white population to the West? Right. So let's get to reading. A lot of terms. The westward migration of the population of the U.S. had a detrimental effect on the plain natives. Many of the natives, such as the Cherokee, had lived east until they were forced by the Indian Removal Act of 1830 by Andrew Jackson. At one time, most native tribes in the plains were agrarian, so they farmed. They hunted in their local areas, had raised corn, beans, and other crops. Then natives on the plains discovered the horse, and the horse brought by the Spanish, and they were awesome with the horse. Their prowess with the horse allowed them to hunt and kill the bison with greater ease. The stationary tribes faced new unintended enemy due to white settlement in the plains. Smallpox or disease continues to kill Native Americans, unfortunately. Because they had no previous exposure, natives highly susceptible to the disease carried by whites. Some historians estimate that more than 100,000 natives succumbed to the disease in the late 1800s. We believe there was anywhere more or less around 50 million to 100 million natives across the entire Americas, North, Central, and South, before Europeans showed up. And then they were just decimated, as it says here. Practically no one survived. The menace of new disease, my timer's going, was just one source of misery. They would make agreements with land and hunting rights. Sometimes this breach would just be by one rogue settler or Native American. There would be retaliation. Eventually, a full-scale conflict or war would annihilate the natives, unfortunately. Video on the bison, you're more than welcome to watch. Right? Native Americans had no place to move, and whites, including the federal government, had no ready solution. Federal policy took three distinct but confused positions: eradication, relocation, and assimilation. We don't know where to put you, so we're either going to kill you, we're going to put you somewhere else, or we're going to make you become U.S. Eradication meant destroying. Relocation had to do with moving, and assimilation meant to encourage to give up their ways of life and become white. Image of these plain natives. Yeah, unfortunately, it didn't work out for many of them. Administration of the government's Native American policies fell in peacetime to the Bureau of Indian Affairs. It was originally part of the War Department. Then it was moved under the Interior Department in 1849. It was given responsibility of caring for natives. All right. The Bureau of Affairs had a dismal record of bureaucratic ineptitude, inefficiency, and corruption. Not good ineptitude. The Colorado conflicts and the Chivington massacre. In the 50s, natives in Colorado, including Cheyenne and Arapaho, signed treaties with the government. Civil War led to the reorganization of several bands of Colorado militia. Obviously, Colonel Chivington's personal feelings endorsed the policy of eradication, so kill them all. There's Colonel Chivington. In 1864, troops started attacking small Cheyenne and Arapaho villages in western Kansas. Without any provocation, the troops killed both the chiefs. This unprovoked attack led to retaliation against white settlers and small groups of soldiers. In the fall of 1864, Chief Black Kettle brought a group of Cheyenne to Fort Lyon to report to the Army commander that they were in the area and would be hunting. This report was an attempt by Black Kettle to show he was friendly. Black Kettle then led his people about 40 miles north to an encampment at Sand Creek. The Braves were hunting while Black Kettle and about 60 men, along with women and children, stayed behind in the camp. In the morning of November 29th, Colonel Chivington ordered the attack. Two of his officers refused to obey his orders and ordered their men to stay out of the attack. However, the rest of the militia opened fire on the defenseless camp. The soldiers attacked the camp and killed and mutilated more than 100 women and children, scalping them and committing indescribable, horrible acts against their bodies. About 40 native braves were killed in the attack. Chivington reported his attack as a gallant victory. In the following months, eyewitnesses told the story of the massacre to government committees in the investigating Battle of Sand Creek. The ugly incident caused the Cheyenne and Arapaho to move northward to seek protection among the Sioux and other larger tribes. The massacre at Sand Creek also growing. Yeah, sadly, none of the perpetrators of this criminal massacre, including Chivington, were ever prosecuted or officially reprimanded. So now, les pasó, nothing happened to them. Then we get into the Sioux Wars, the Bozeman Trail. The Bozeman Trail ran from Colorado to Oregon. The Sioux were unhappy, and unfortunately, nothing ever good comes of it. All right, you have some questions to answer. Finish reading. Not a nice part of U.S. history, so apologies if I'm rather emotional about this. Be good, be well, everybody.